45.1 billion gallon blood you donated. That saves hundreds of lives in the world.
Yes.
How do you feel remembering all those things, recalling all those memories that support you to establish this record?
Well, I feel, as I say, humbled.
Yes.
I don't feel proud. I feel fortunate that I've had the health and the blood veins and the tenacity to stay with it, and I go religiously every 56 days to donate. I began in 1951.
What is the speciality of having world record holder?
As I say, I don't feel proud, but I'm pleased that I can contribute something to mankind and to saving lives through blood donations, and hopefully to encourage other people to donate.
What inspired you to donate the blood for the first time?
I had graduated from high school in May of 1950.
Right.
And one of my classmates that was on the football team I played on,
Yes.
I went to college and he joined the Marines. The Korean War broke out. He was severely wounded in the winter of 1950 and 51. I'm sorry, 1951 and 52. I wasn't aware of that, and really wasn't aware that whatever he had been doing in the Marines. I heard later, though, that he had been severely wounded, and so in the summer of 1951 he was transferred from a hospital in Los Angeles to a hospital in Jacksonville. I was a student that summer at the University of Florida. I went over to visit him, and he was bandaged like a mummy. He was just really severely wounded. And I came out of that room, and I felt ashamed, actually, that here I was just going to college and doing the best I could, but here he was giving his body and his life for the country.
Yes.
And I came outside and I sat on a bench and I wept. It so happened that was on Friday, and the following Monday they had a blood donation thing at the University of Florida in the infirmary. So I said, I'm going to go donate.
You decided to donate blood for his life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And
yes.
Did it work?
Yes, it worked. Yes, that was my first donation. And I felt so good about doing that.
Your affection with your friend inspired you to donate, or you were aware of blood donations benefits?
It was primarily, as I said, I felt guilty that he had given so much and I had felt I'd given nothing.
Yeah.
And to me, this offered an opportunity to do something to help save lives.
What was the response of your wounded friend at that time?
My wounded friend, that's an interesting story. He had no idea that I had even begun.
Oh.
And not too long after he was released from the Marines, he moved to another place. And I hadn't seen him for years, but I continued to donate each and every time I had the opportunity, both while I was in undergraduate school, in law school, and then 2.5 years in the United States Army. He didn't know until many years later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In fact...
what was his response when he came to know that you were the person who saved his life?
Well, actually, how I contacted him, I had gone to the hospital to donate blood one day. His name was Gene Pravat. Oh. This was in about 1984, I think.
84.
Yeah, and I said, do you know where are you any relation to Gene Pravat? And she said, oh yeah, he's my uncle. I said, well, I sure would like to contact him if you know where he is and have his address. So I sat down and I wrote a letter to him. And some time later, he called me on the phone after he got the letter. And I told him the whole story and told him how I felt so embarrassed of what he had done and I had not done. And so we had a nice conversation, actually rekindled our friendship. And we talked a number of times, and then actually it was just about 6 years ago, he passed away.
Oh, so sorry.
And
I'm sorry.
his wife called me and asked if I would do the eulogy at his service, and I was so honored to do that. So he was my inspiration from the beginning, but I have to tell you that almost, if not every time I donated, I thought about him. This was in 2010 when I went to donate at Lee Memorial Hospital here in Fort Myers. And one of the ladies who worked there said, you know, we've got a record on you, and I think you may have the world's record of donations. And I said, really? And she said, yeah. And she said, do you mind if we check with him and see? I said, no, that's all right. And then she found out that the record then was like 283.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point I had given 314.
Oh, yes.
And
you are already up.
She said, would you consider applying? I said, I'll do it as long as it doesn't take a lot of work to.
Yeah.
Well, she said, oh, we'll take care of it. But actually, I had to take care of it, and my wife, with her help, I assembled what was needed. And we had to verify everything, all of the records, and we had to have an occasion on which I donated blood. And Guinness required that certain people in the community be there. There was a circuit judge there, the chairman of the county commissioners, the mayor, the head of the hospital, just a number of different people that designated. They said these people have to be present and observe this. So we had the occasion in June of 2011.
11, yes.
And there was a big to-do about it.
So the lady inspired you to apply for the Guinness World
Yes,
Record, right?
yes. I had no idea.
Yeah, you had no idea.
Yeah.
And you were already 314 times at the time when she told.
Yes. And so then when the date that the record was recorded was number 315.
What did you feel when you came to know that you are a world record holder?
Well, actually, I didn't feel proud. I felt humbled that I was able to do something that apparently somebody thought it was of value. And I hadn't really thought about all the lives. In fact, I don't think I knew then that the rule is that 1 pint of blood can save up to 3 lives. Right. And so they had it all calculated that I had saved over 1,000 lives. Well, I don't know about that, but I'm just glad that the Creator who gave me life has enabled me to do something that is of value to other people.
You are now 86 years old.
86 years old, yes.
And still quite active, very energetic, and highly enthusiastic, and you are still want to do something for the community and for the human life.
Yes.
What is your target number in blood donation?
It keeps changing. When I had 38 gallons, I said, if I can just get to 40, I'll be happy. Well, I got to 40, and then I said, well, I want to move a little higher.
Yeah.
And so my goal was 45 gallons. Now I've got 1 pint on the next ledge. I'd like to think I could maybe get to 50 gallons.
What are the major tips for the blood donation?
Well, the procedure for whole blood is fairly simple. There are 3 ways of which you can donate. You can donate whole blood, you can donate platelets, you can donate the red cells. You can donate whole blood and red cells every 56 days. But I think what I didn't realize is the health factors that go to the person who does the donating. He thinks he's giving, and yet he's receiving all this time, because there are statistics that show that, and a number of studies have shown that, particularly with men between the ages of, I think it's 40 and 62, who are regular blood donors, that doesn't mean donating 6 times a year, but 2 or more times a year, have an 82% less chance of having a heart attack or a stroke during that period.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I'm
Yes.
convinced that one of the primary reasons I'm still here is because of that.
People may have some misunderstanding regarding the blood donation
Yes.
as well, but you claim that this is one of the best thing to be healthy, right?
Healthy, and under the procedures they use now,
Yes.
you don't have to worry about bad needles or something,
Yeah.
or they check all of that.
What is your message to the people that encourage them to donate blood?
First of all, I believe that you will get back more than you give. You're giving a pint of blood, but every time I go there, it's like a natural high. You come out of there and you feel like you've done something worthwhile.
Right,
you know,
right.
You will find that if you donate blood, you will get back more than you give,
Right.
and yet you will have the satisfaction of doing something that can save lives and save healings, and people who are injured, people who are shot in an accident of some kind or an automobile accident. Every type of injury and every type of health problem, blood will help extend those lives.
If we talk regarding your memories, do you have any bad memories regarding blood donation in your life?
Not one.
No one.
Not one.
Yes. What is your relation with the Blood Donors of America and how it grew up?
Well, actually, one of your members contacted me back in April, I think it was, and said he knew who I was and knew that I had the Guinness record, and he said, would I consider coming to the convention which you're going to have in May? And
Yes.
I was honored to be asked, and went, and I have to tell you, I was very impressed with the people there. Their commitment, not just to blood donation, but contribute to society, and
Yes.
and just good people. And what I found is all of those people that are part of Blood Donors of America, all of them are hard workers. They're intelligent people. Not that intelligence is everything, but they have a goal in life, and they're trying to do something not only for people and their health and their needs, but to strengthen this country. In fact,
Right.
if all of the Americans had the same passion for blood donations
Right.
that the Blood Donors of America have, there would never be any shortage.
How do you like to remember your childhood memories?
It was a difficult time. I was 9 years old when World War II began. My father enlisted 60 days, and he was gone for 3.5 years. I worried about him, and my mother had to go to work, and my siblings were older than I was, so I was like a latchkey kid. And those were, for a young boy, those were kind of difficult years. But the rest of, from that point on, fortunately, my father came home, and I could not ask for anything more.
From your childhood, which one is the best moment you would like to pick?
Was the day in July of 1945 when my father came home from the service. And that was the happiest day of my childhood.
You serve in American Army as well.
Yeah.
What is the best thing serving the U.S. Army?
I was in the infantry, and I have to say I wasn't ecstatic about the service, but I learned a lot in the service. I learned a lot about people in 1956, and left about 45 days later, entered the service, served 2.5 years, came home and began a private law practice with my father and my
Great.
uncle.
This is one of the most important thing to know, all our audience, that John Schaefer is not only a great humanitarian leader, he is a fantastic writer as well, who has published 12 books during this time. How he became a writer?
That was part of my treatment. I was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's when I was 60. I'm 86 now.
So sad.
And told I had just several years to live. I came across a doctor that I found in Naples who was a holistic neurologist. He said all the indications are that we know now in 1992 that's what you have, but he said I want you to try some things, and that was to exercise every day, which I still do.
Yes.
That I changed my diet substantially, fruits and vegetables and herbs and that sort of thing. And lastly, he said, you've got to keep your mind active so that you don't let it slip away.
Right.
And I said, well, what am I going to do? He said, well, why don't you think about writing? He said, well, as a lawyer, words were your tools, so why don't you think about writing? So I said, well, what am I going to write about? He said, write about what you did.
What do you feel when you watch these all kinds of certificates, honor, awards that you see every day in your house? What makes you feel that?
Actually, I don't display them. I brought some things out, or my wife gathered them, bring them out for this purpose here. But again, I feel humbled. I don't feel that I'm somebody who has been a great contributor to life and to mankind, but I give what I can and do what I can.
What is life in your opinion?
Life is a gift first. Every moment we have is a gift. Every day is a gift. And it doesn't do any good to worry about yesterday because that's done. Don't worry too much about tomorrow because you don't know if you'll have it tomorrow.
Yes.
So you live for today. You do what you can. You find out where you can serve, where you can do something of value to somebody else, and that makes my life whole. And the love that I have with my wife of 64 years and my children and grandchildren and many friends, I just feel like I've been blessed more than I ever could have deserved.
Don't you think that you are a global celebrity?
No, I don't. No, I'm not a global celebrity. I'm just a hometown boy that's gotten old.
Yeah. What is the value of tears?
Okay. When I learned the value of tears for an adult was when I lost my son. 38 years ago. He's
So
23
sorry.
years old.
So sorry. Yeah.
And I learned that real men can cry. In fact, God gave us tears for a reason. He gave them to us for joy. He gave them to us for hard times. He gave it to us for pain. And I was raised to believe that a man should never show his emotions. But I learned that that's not a truth. And in fact, I remember particularly seeing two of our presidents in tears. And one of them was Ford, President Ford, and the other one was President Bush II, George W. Bush. My message is, don't take any moment, any day for granted. Take it as a gift, and use your life with purpose to help, to serve, to do something.
Thank you very much for your
Thank
wonderful
you.
time and opinions.
I appreciate it.
Really great meeting you. Thank you so much, John.
I'm blessed to have met you.
And once again, I would like to congratulate you, not just because of you are a record holder, but because you have saved thousands of lives in this planet Earth.
Yeah.
And I believe this is one of the biggest inspiration for the people who are living in this planet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.